Hey everyone, it's Victoria Presnell, the Facts Agent at UGA Extension Carroll County. We are back for another video on Just the Facts. Last week we talked a little bit about diabetes and how diabetes affects us, what it is, and some statistics about it. Today we're going to talk about a topic called glucose. Glucose and diabetes go hand in hand, so that is why I put them back to back. If you need to rewatch diabetes, or if you need to get a refresher about diabetes, and think about it as we go through this next video all about glucose. So before we start digging too deep into what glucose does to our bodies, you need to know what it is. Glucose is the word for sugar in Greek, and it's the type of sugar that you get from the foods that we eat. And when this sugar goes through your bloodstream into your cells, you may know it as blood glucose or your blood sugar. So insulin is a hormone in your body that moves the glucose through your bloodstream to your cells. So like we talked about last week, diabetics usually have a higher level of blood sugar or blood glucose in their bodies. And that is because either they don't have enough insulin in their body to move the glucose, or their insulin isn't working properly. So when you have high levels of glucose over long periods of time, it can be dangerous, and it can damage things like your kidneys, your eyes, or even your organs. So it's important to keep your blood sugar or your blood glucose at normal levels all the time. So your body makes glucose in your body usually from main foods that are rich in carbohydrates, like bread, potatoes, or even fruit. So now we're going to talk about what are the normal levels of glucose. Maintaining normal glucose levels are very important to keep a healthy lifestyle. So for you to have healthy blood sugar or blood glucose, you want those numbers to be anywhere between 90 and 130 milligrams before you eat. There are a lot of things that can trigger you to have high blood glucose or blood sugar. Some of those are eating heavy meals, lack of physical activity, eating lots of high, rich carbohydrates, or even stress can affect your blood sugar levels. So it's important that we keep those things down, and that we get our physical activity in, and that we watch our nutrition that we are taking in a day. So now that you know what glucose is, you may ask yourself, how do you get that tested? So what you do is you go to your local doctor's office, or maybe even a wellness fair, and you get a test done that we call an A1C test. An A1C test does just that. It will test your blood sugar for you. And so it will tell you, or it will test your blood sugar from the past 2 to 3 months and tell you if you've had high blood sugar from the past 2 or 3 months on a consistent basis. As with many other medical conditions, it's better if we catch it early in the stages before it's too late. But as you do know that most diabetics do have a problem with keeping their glucose at normal range. So if you are a diabetic, it's important that you take your blood sugar, you watch those numbers very closely. And if you're not a diabetic, it's important that you keep your blood glucose at normal levels as well, so you can try to prevent from becoming a pre-diabetic or a diabetic. So there are a few things that you can do, just like we talked about in the other video. Getting your 150 minutes of exercise, eating very nutrient-dense meals, checking your glucose every once in a while, getting doctor visits, and taking your medication if you are a diabetic or if you do struggle with high glucose. This is all about glucose, and I hope you have learned at least one new thing that you can take away from this video. And remember, I am Victoria, and this is Just the Fact.